WUSA 9 News at Noon starts right now with breaking new developments in the National Guard shooting. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rafael Sanchez Cruz. This morning, we got an update from the U.S. Attorney for D.C., Jeanine Pirro. She named the two Guard members who were shot yesterday in what they're calling a targeted attack. 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf. They're both from West Virginia and have been here since August, according to the state's National Guard. Beckstrom and Wolf are still in the hospital this afternoon in critical condition.
This was not just an attack. It was a direct challenge to law and order in our nation's capital. And the individual will be made fully accountable.
Investigators say that individual, 29-year-old Ramula Lockenwall, they believe drove here to D.C. from Washington State. He's an Afghan national who worked with the U.S. government in Kandahar. Our Sarah Robinson has the latest on this investigation.
Well, sadly, this is not the update that we were hoping for. People in that press conference room and, of course, all across the country were hoping to hear positive news about the conditions of those two West Virginia National Guard members who were shot yesterday.
We mentioned that Lockenwall drove here from Washington State. Our sister station in Seattle went to his last known address to learn more about who he is. Here's Jim Nelson.
People around here were shocked when they heard.
In the aftermath of the shooting, the Trump administration announced that it will immediately suspend all immigration applications from Afghanistan. And President Donald Trump has ordered 500 additional National Guard troops here in the district. Stick with WUSA 9 on air, online, and streaming as we follow every update on this story. Coming up on 12:30 News, we'll be airing this morning's entire news conference. U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro and FBI Director Kash Patel both gave updates on this ongoing investigation. You can watch it for free on WUSA 9+.
We're following breaking news at noon. The FBI just arrested a suspect in the pipe bomb case from the night prior to the January 6th insurrection. Thanks for joining us. I'm Larry Miller. In the last hour, we have heard from sources that say that the suspect is Brian Cole Jr. from Prince William County. This is a live look at Cole's home in Woodbridge, Virginia. You can see many black cars are in the cul-de-sac, and people are going back and forth from in and outside of that house. Rafael Sanchez Cruz joining us live from the Justice Department right now with what else we are learning about this alleged suspect. Rafael?
Yeah, Larry, after nearly 5 years, many are left wondering what information may have led to this potential breakthrough in.
Thank you. At 9:02, we do begin with breaking news out of the Middle East. President Trump is asking to pardon Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu of bribery and fraud charges from 2019, just hours after all living Israeli hostages were set free. They spent the last 2 years in Hamas custody.
This is new video from the last hour showing some of those reunions. The 28 deceased Israeli hostages will also be returned to Israel so they can be laid to rest. And in the West Bank, Palestinian prisoners, they're allowed to return home. President Trump spoke in Israel just 1 hour ago alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, calling it, quote, the dawn of a new Middle East, but telling Israeli lawmakers not to forget about the October attack in 2023 that sparked the war.
To all the families whose lives were forever changed by the atrocities of that day, and all of the people of Israel, please know that America joins you in those two everlasting vows: never forget and never again.
With the fighting on hold and aid trucks coming in, President Trump says this is the foundation to restarting peace.
Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now.
Israel says they do expect to release about 2,000 Palestinian prisoners.
Maryland leaders just announced a plan to support people relying on federal food benefits. SNAP benefits are expected to run out this weekend amid the government shutdown. That means at least 40 million Americans would lose federal food and nutrition benefits. And right now, D.C., Maryland, and 24 other states are suing the Trump administration, asking the USDA to use its emergency SNAP funding to keep the program running. But the USDA does not want to. So local leaders say that they are trying to step in and find ways to help those relying on SNAP benefits. Maryland Governor Wes Moore just held a press conference less than 30 minutes ago to address this and talk about what he plans to do.
When the federal government says that you are on your own, in the state of Maryland, we say we leave no one behind. And so, today, we are responding to the federal government's dereliction of its duty by declaring a state of emergency inside the state of Maryland. And I will use all powers vested upon me as the governor of the state of Maryland and immediately use my emergency authority as governor to surge $10 million to food banks and to food bank partners all across the state of Maryland.
Congressman Glenn Ivey, representing Maryland's 4th Congressional District, joining me now to talk more about what you, Congressman, would like to do more for federal workers. But first, let's start with the Governor Wes Moore's announcement, just announcing he is going to allocate $10 million to food banks. What is your reaction to this?
Well, I commend the governor for taking this dramatic step. Declaring a state of emergency, I think, is the only way to go at this point. But really, I got to condemn the Trump administration. I think their actions here are immoral and illegal. They've got $5 billion that Congress had passed and put in an emergency fund long ago for this purpose, in the event of emergency, just to make sure there's no gap where people could fall through the cracks and not be able to get food. But instead of using that money in the right way, they're trying to use it as political leverage in this negotiation here on the Hill. So they're weaponizing hunger for political reasons, and that's just wrong.
And the governor did double down on that thought, that sentiment. He said actions that the state of Maryland is taking is because of the actions that federal government is taking to actively hurt the American people. That was the sentiment from the governor just about 30 minutes ago. Aside from the SNAP issue, Maryland is home to the largest amount of federal workers in our area. What do you think will be the impact of the benefits expiring, but also the health premiums, and where do we stand as far as this shutdown goes?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. We're still shut down, obviously, and the Republicans, House Republicans in particular, are refusing to even come back to Capitol Hill and negotiate. They're still scattered all over the country. We saw one of them that was out camping with his family and posted it on the internet, bragging about the fact that he wasn't here. So it's irresponsible for them to not be here doing their jobs, but we're going to keep pressing ahead. And we're going to force them to return and address reopening the government for sure, but also it's extending these tax credits for people for their health care. A lot of people can't afford it without the tax credits. Millions of people will lose it, and it's even more risky for them because of the $1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid that the Republicans made too. So it's a big healthcare mess that the Republicans have created. We need them to come back to town so we can work on resolving it together.
Right. We are now on day 30. What are you working on currently to help families impacted by this shutdown?
Well, we're trying to help with the SNAP issue, with respect to the press conference the governor had. I was out with Congressman Steny Hoyer the other day at one of the food sites here in Prince George's County. We had lines around the block, sadly, and those were only federal employees that were in line that day. So we know there's a lot of hurt out there. There's a lot of need. We want to try and find ways to fill the gap in the interim. Hopefully the federal government, the Trump administration, will release that $5 billion so that we can, just play the right role with respect to the EBT cards and the like, so people can have immediate benefit from that. And I thank the governor for stepping in as well. So we got all hands on deck. The faith community stepped up. We're trying to do everything we can to help people make it through this and navigate these challenges. And at the same time, we're demanding that the House Republicans come back and get to work so we can resolve this.
And I know on your website, in fact, I went to it this morning, you have a list of Q&A and resources there for people in case they need it. But before we let you go, what message do you have for Marylanders, Congressman, who are scared, frustrated, really during these uncertain times?
Well, I'll tell you what they've been telling me, which is they're hurting. This is a difficult time for them, but they want us to stand strong. They want us to fight back against the Trump administration. The attacks on federal workers, firing people started on January 20th, as soon as they got in the building. You got federal employees who'd had great careers and done great work, but got pushed out the door anyway. and the public suffering from not having those services. We're going to keep fighting for them. We're going to keep fighting to restore their health care tax credits, and we want to make sure we protect people with the SNAP payments as well, so nobody has to go hungry. We're going to keep fighting.
Representative Glenn Ivey, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. It was a powerful and passionate goodbye to MPD Chief Pamela Smith. For just about 2 hours ago, Smith addressed what she calls her haters. Now, Smith is stepping down as chief after serving the department for about 2.5 years. Take a listen to what she had to say.
So I'm going to the Bible when I say this to my haters. F you. No, it's not a drop the mic moment. Watch me in this space. I forgive you. I forgive you. Because the Bible makes it very clearly. When Jesus was hanging on the cross, when he said to us, Father, even in the pit of agony and defeat, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. God bless you and God keep you. It has been my pleasure to serve the District of Columbia for 2.5 years. It does not matter what goes on from here, but as the mayor said, there's greater things in store for Pamela A. Smith. Mama, I love you. Papa D, I love you. Family, I love you. Let's move on and do it.
Certainly a powerful speech there, and to be in that room, you certainly felt the message clear. During her time at the podium, Chief Smith also addressed the crime stats report, alleging that MPD changed the stats, that they manipulated the data. She said that there should be an investigation. Right now, you can watch Smith's full address on WUSA 9 Plus. It is streaming. All you have to do is download the Plus app on your TV for free and watch. And we will also have more for you on Smith's departure and what comes next tonight on WUSA 9 News at 4 p.m.
And we have updates to share this morning on 2 troubling incidents at Reagan National Airport. The FAA says an employee is now on administrative leave and is facing charges after a fight inside an air traffic control tower on Thursday. Damon Gaines of Upper Marlboro is now charged with assault and battery. It's still unclear what caused this fight. And the NTSB is investigating a close call between a Delta Airlines and a Air Force jet airline plane. We learned that 2 came within just a few hundred feet of one another. That happened on Friday. And this all comes in the wake of that deadly mid-air collision, of course, between a plane and an Army helicopter back in January, where 67 people died. Coming up at 5 on Get Up DC, Jess Arnold joins us with a new report on exactly how many close calls in the air have involved military aircraft.
Funeral plans are now set for former Vice President Dick Cheney. USA Today reporting the 46th Vice President's service will be held next Thursday, November 20th at the National Cathedral. Right now, there is no word on whether he'll lie in state at the U.S. Capitol. And efforts to deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia are picking back up. Federal prosecutors want a judge to lift an order that blocks his removal, and they argue all legal hurdles have been cleared. The Trump administration plans to send the Prince George's County man to Liberia. Now to our other big story, the National Guard attack. In the next 30 minutes, we are expecting an update from the governor of West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey. Will be streaming that live on WUSA 9 Plus as soon as it happens. So now is a good time to download our free WUSA 9 Plus app on your TV if you do not have it. In the meantime, let's get to the 3 things to know as far as this investigation goes. First, Guard member Andrew Wolf remains in critical condition. He was shot while patrolling with Sarah Beckstrom. She sadly passed away. Funeral arrangements are now underway for her. And second, we are learning more about the suspect, Rahmanullah Lakhanwal. He is an Afghan national who entered the country in 2021. U.S. officials say he may have been radicalized here. And finally, hundreds of additional troops are expected to arrive in D.C. any day this week, and they could be paired with MPD on patrol. Our Kelly Vaughn is outside the D.C. Armory with more on the impact of that decision. Today, Virginia state lawmakers plan to vote on establishing a cannabis marketplace in the state. This could take effect next November. The plan includes support for small businesses, a competitive tax rate, and the elimination of an opt-out option. Past efforts have been blocked by Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin's vetoes, but with Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger taking office soon, supporters say the chances of legalizing retail sales are stronger than ever.
There is a priority amongst some lawmakers to enact retail sales sooner rather than later and begin transitioning consumers away from the illicit market to one that is regulated for product and consumer safety.
Virginia became the first southern state to legalize adult use cannabis in 2021, but buying or selling for recreational use remains illegal.
We're going to take a live look outside right now. A cloudy Monday, and we could get a little drizzle throughout the day as well. Meteorologist Jonathan Myers is here at the desk to time that all out, and our Terry Hornstein will update us on how the rain is impacting the morning commute.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly.
We've been keeping a close eye on it, but you know what? We have a whole different layer of things in the mix here since it's a holiday, and so I was looking, just kind of peeking out on the roads. It is quiet-ish out there, with the exception of
I am
tonight.
pleased to say it looks really nice out there. Just a couple of minor things, not what we normally see when it's been raining all morning.
Right. Yeah. That's great. All right, Jonathan, and we are seeing most of the East Coast, including Maryland's Ocean City, dealing with some major flooding, strong winds, power outages as this nor'easter moves in. Will it be impacting us closer inland too? Can I call you Jay?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I'm good with it. Let's go.
Okay,
You know, we're good. So yeah, really, we're going to be dealing with the impacts today. We actually had some yesterday. It's kind of weird because we're seeing these pictures like this, and it's like, where is the nor'easter, right? Well, there it is. It's off to our north, and it's down to our south. The energy has been down around Charleston and the South Carolina, North Carolina border. Now, it kind of, if you will, jumped northbound to another low-pressure center.
WUSA 9 Weather Impact is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
It's giving you a live look right now at Kingston, Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa is just starting to move onto the western part of the island. It has already brought heavy downpours to the area and taken the lives of 7 people throughout the Caribbean. Right now, this is a Category 5 hurricane and even stronger than Hurricane Katrina. A United Nations agency is describing Melissa as the storm of the century. The island is bracing for catastrophic flash flooding, landslides, and a storm surge up to 13 feet. And the American Red Cross has already opened shelters for families, and officials are urging residents to listen to emergency warnings as the storm closes in. And meteorologist Caitlin McGrath continuing to track Melissa, and it just looks like a frightening storm.
Yeah,
and we start WUSA 9 with major breaking news. The Washington Commanders could soon be living up to their name. Our sources tell us the team's leaders and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser are expected to announce the team's return to the nation's capital today. Now, this comes after playing outside of D.C., of course, you know, in the Maryland suburbs. It's the DMV for the past 30 years.
Now, the team is expected to return to their former home, RFK Stadium. The D.C. Council will have to approve this deal, which our sources confirmed is a $3 billion project.
Last week, we also confirmed the Commanders ownership group would put up around $2.5 billion under this proposal, with D.C. providing $850 million. Of course, this is big breaking news. We're going to stay on top of this all morning long. We'll bring you the very latest developments as they come into our newsroom.
Let's talk about the Commanders. Of course, WUSA 9 is your home for all things Commanders coverage. So let's get you up to speed. First, the team is set to fly to Madrid, Spain tonight, but it is still unclear if defensive lineman Daron Payne will play. The NFL this morning announced a 1-game suspension after Payne punched one of the Lions players on Sunday. The team will play against the Miami Dolphins on this Sunday, and this will be the NFL's first ever game in Madrid. And second, D.C. native and rapper Wale is partnering with the team to host a football clinic for our kids tonight. This is happening at the Deanwood Rec Center at 6 p.m. And finally, President Trump stopped by Northwest Stadium during Sunday's game against the Lions, and he joined the broadcast booth and even called a few plays. He is the first sitting U.S. president since Jimmy Carter in 1978 to attend a regular season NFL game, and the reaction was mixed. You could hear both boos and cheers there among the crowd. Commanders owner Josh Harris presented the president with a custom 47 jersey, number 47, there you see it. And just days before, the White House said it would be beautiful if the team's new stadium was named after President Trump. Now, the president did not address that comment during the game. Coming up, we're taking you to one of Madrid's most popular markets where delicious foods, culture, and commander's pride are all on the menu when we get back.
Is it a touchdown, a field goal, or just a bad kick for the district? How D.C. leaders are feeling about hosting the NFL draft in 2027.
And a Maryland woman gets the shock of her life from a school that she says she never attended.
It said I owed over $14,000.
Over $14,000?
Yes.
There's just one problem. Did you go to UMBC?
No, I didn't go there.
We uncover the reason behind the huge tuition bill and help to get her answers. Back to school is right around the corner, and students in Virginia schools are gearing up for a major shift in the classrooms. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin is banning cell phones in all public schools K through 12, aiming to reduce distractions and also improve student focus. Going cell phone or smartphone free may seem like a daunting task for both students and parents, and that is why we wanted to bring in some voices leading a movement that could help young people reconnect with screens and also adults. Joining me now is Grant Besner, co-founder of Offline DC, a group promoting life without smartphones and social media in most cases, and also celebrity chef Rock Harper in the house with us, who recently participated in what I'm calling a challenge. It was like an offline challenge that you did for a month, so we'll definitely talk about that. But Grant, I want to start with you. What inspired you all to even start this?
Sure. Well, thanks so much for having us on. So I've been off and on my smartphone for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
This is my phone.
Oh my goodness, I haven't seen that since like, what, early 2000s?
Yeah, it's called the Punkt MP02. It just calls and texts. You know, I had some friends that were also experimenting with their digital life, and we just felt like we looked around on the metro and everyone's just not socializing, just like glued to their screens, and it had been really liberating for my mental health, and I found that I was able to connect so much more with my community being off my smartphone, and we wanted to try to find a way in DC to build community and help other people who were maybe frustrated with their digital life, and offer an alternative.
Love the idea, but what popped up in my mind was how is it sustainable? Because so much of our lives revolve around digital services, the fast pace of, you know, everything going digital. It's like, how do you even maneuver around those types of factors?
You're less available and you're more present. So a lot of things that you think you might need your phone for, navigation, two-factor authentication.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
You can find workarounds for. You either offload it onto your computer, or for instance, for two-factor authentication, there's something called a private key, which is like a little, you know, USB that goes on a keychain. You stick it into your computer and you tap it, and a lot of applications accept that as opposed to using a smartphone. So you just need to plan ahead a little bit more, but honestly, I think it's a much better user experience.
Yeah. Well, speaking of user experience, we got to get the lowdown from celebrity chef Rock here. So what was that like, going offline for 30 days?
It was daunting, because I tell you, when I first got into the class, I thought, you know, I read a couple of books and they sort of give you a plan to descend off your smartphone. And on day one, Grant was like, hold your phone up. We did a little chant and turned the phone off. I said, hold on, brother, you know, that was
a moment.
Right, but it was, I love that, because we jumped right in. And like he said, you find out, we're very intuitive. I mean, human beings will figure it out, right? So you find out, hey, I didn't actually need that. I was more aware. I'm always aware of reaching for it, like, you know, thinking about my thinking. Why am I reaching for it? Why am I dependent upon it in this time? Do I actually need it, or is it just an impulse? And more times than not, for me, it was just an impulse, and all of the inroads of communication, which sometimes give me anxiety, if I'm being completely honest, that subsided and went away, and I found a way. I love the way you use this term, to remediate, renegotiate my relationship with the smartphone.
Well, so yeah, right. Speak on that, because now that you've completed this and you've sort of recalibrated, like, where does it go now with setting boundaries?
If I can chime in, so the experience that Rock went through is called Month Offline, and that's an organization that we started right here in DC to bring people together, to come together each week to meet up. And each week is a different theme. We have different creative challenges to help you walk through that process of remediating your digital life. And so we give every participant a flip phone. Rock, do you have yours?
I got mine right here, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Yep. Simple times.
And at the end of the month, we really believe that in the absence of doom scrolling, you get more connected to your neighborhood. Doom scroll becomes neighborhood stroll. And so at the end of the month, everybody that participates in the challenge is going to produce some kind of art to reflect on the experience of what is it like to live in the real world.
Right. And that's coming up August 7th.
August 7th, this Thursday, we're having an art gallery in the Temperance Alley Garden on U Street, 7 p.m. And it's going to be a phone-free space, so they're going to check your phone at the gate when you come in. And there's going to be art from all of the 15 participants from the July cohort of Month Offline.
Okay. So much to talk about. We got to end it there. Real quickly, though, the website that people can check out if they want to take part.
So the best way to learn about offline here in DC is to call 1-844-OFFLINE.
There you go.
And then our website is offline.community.
Okay. Thanks so much,
Thank
guys.
you for having me.
All right. Thank you.